The UFC time and time again makes fighters go through the same cycle. From up-and-coming prospects to champions to a fallen off, washed off veteran that gets sacrificed to those new up-and-coming prospects. And I think fans are sick of it. Today I want to look at Nick Diaz and Jose Aldo and look at how the UFC has treated them later into their career. Starting off with Nick Diaz. Now Nick was once one of the biggest names in the UFC, fighting guys like George St. Pierre, Anderson Silva, and Carlos Condit and more. But after a bullshit suspension when Nick Diaz was caught smoking weed, Nick Diaz went away from the game for a while and returned in 2021. This is where Nick Diaz fought Robbie Lawler, a totally fair matchup, but Nick Diaz did not look good in this matchup. He came in overweight and had the worst performance of his career and looked embarrassing out there. Even though Diaz did have some moments here and there, you could tell that this was not the Nick Diaz of old. Nick Diaz during this fight week even was saying weird things, saying how he was scared and forced to fight.
Since I've had this fight coming up, I've been under a lot of stress. It has not been an easygoing training camp.
But after that whole incident, Nick Diaz decides to return, and who does the UFC pair him up with? A matchup that makes no sense, Vicente Luque. Though I wouldn't categorize Vicente Luque as a young up-and-coming prospect, UFC definitely want to build Luque by him beating Nick Diaz, because why else make the fight? Like, there is no other logical reason. No fans want to really see this fight. There's a lot better matchup. Why not have Nick Diaz fight guys like Tony Ferguson, Bobby Green, maybe even going up to welterweight? Why sacrifice Nick Diaz for a fight that's not going to get him closer to any title, or for a fight that fans don't want to see? There is no reason for this. But Nick Diaz got a light compared to Jose Aldo. Now, Jose Aldo is of course a legend, being in this game nearly 20 years, becoming a long-time dominant featherweight champion, as well as being one of the greatest of all time. Jose even going up and down weight classes and fighting for that bantamweight title at one point. And you would think at this stage of his career that he would get either a fight that would get him closer to the title, or a fight that fans want to see, right? That would be what makes sense. But he got neither of those. Last May, he fought Jonathan Martinez in a fight that Jose Aldo did very well in, but you would think, okay, they gave him the young up-and-coming prospect once, they're not going to do it again, right? Well, you would be extremely wrong, because the UFC then pairs Jose Aldo up with Mario Bautista, being one of the worst decisions the UFC has made, because last weekend Mario Bautista and Jose Aldo both fought, and although it was a close fight, Mario Bautista wound up winning a very boring fight where all he did was press Jose Aldo up against the cage, clearly stalling at times, making it so that neither guy was able to benefit from the situation. No guy came out looking good. Jose Aldo came out with a loss, getting nowhere near a title, and Mario Bautista has more hate than ever. Just look online. Nobody gained literally anything. So why does the UFC do this? Why do they keep disrespecting legends when fans, they just want to see their favorite fighters fight? They want to see fun, even matchups where you don't know who's going to win, right? Most people pretty much figure that Nick Diaz is going to lose to Vicente Luque. Jose Aldo was the underdog for that Mario Bautista fight. And I get doing this every once in a while. Not every fight could be that fun legends fight. You still have to build the young prospect. But for Jose Aldo, why do it multiple times in a row? Really 3 times in a row if you count that Marab fight. Instead, you could have done a fight with Jose Aldo where he fought maybe Dominic Cruz, maybe Corey Sandhagen, which would have got him closer to a title. Hell, I would have even took Umar Nurmagomedov, because if he beat Umar, at least he would get something to gain. But the UFC keeps doing this, just disrespecting their fighters, especially legends who have literally built this sport, who have pioneered so much in this sport. And I'm saying this as a UFC fan. I love what the UFC does. I love Dana White. I love everything that the UFC puts out, really. And I'm not one to just shit all over the UFC, of course. But this is just a fact of life. This needs to stop, and nobody wants to see this because it just is such a bad business decision anyway. This is how you treat OGs like Jose Aldo and Nick Diaz, and I assume we're only going to see more and more of this. I mean, they literally try to book Nate Diaz versus Hamzat Chimaev. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, guys. Hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share. You guys are the best fan base in MMA, and I'll see you guys in the next one.